All right, brother. Hey, thanks again for joining us on today's session, man. It's good to have you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, man, can I have you just introduce yourself to the audience? Let everybody know who Chris Blade is.
Yeah, yeah. Um, my name is Kris, aka Chris Blade. Repping Toxic Slime Click from Vancouver, Canada. I'm an MC, graphic artist, creative director, all types of cool shit. I can make it look cool, man. Pretty much is what I do, and it's about it, man.
And so, hey, so I think everybody wants to know the origin of your name, Chris Blade.
Yeah. So okay, I I started rapping with a different alias, which is TC. So T dot CEE, which is kind of shortened version of Triple C. Because my name is Christian C. Clemente.
Yep.
The alliteration, man. My mom hooked me up with that name, so you know what I'm saying. So it sounded cool to me, right? So, but that name, I was also using it as my graffiti name back then, and so like I would talk about rapping. I'll talk about like graffiti in my songs and like bombing and shit like that. Stealing paint. So I was just like, man, this is not a good look, cause I'm kind of dry snitching on myself. So yeah, if the police ever put the two and two together, I would be in a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, like I switched it up, man, and later on I started calling myself Chris Blade, which is Kris,
Yep.
and people already call me Chris because my name is Christian. So I just wanted to flip it on that kind of shit. I'm like, oh, when I found out when I because the Chris, if you didn't know, it's like a sword
Yep.
and on some Wu Tang shit, right? I was like, I wanted to be the Filipino like Wu Tang member, man. So so like I just wanted to like have a dope like name like that. I'm like, oh shit, that fits, bro. Like that's like that the Chris is like a Southeast Asian thing, right? And
Yep.
yeah, just the Chris blade, so it's like a wavy blade, right?
That's
And
right.
yeah, man, I even have that tattooed on my arm, man. It's a Chris blade, and just yeah, that's what I started running with after I don't use the TC name anymore, and then it was just like yeah, it writes pretty good, it rolls off the tongue real nice, and yeah, man, that's that.
Yeah, it's always tough to come up, with your name that you're going to eventually use, as you start making music. And
Right,
so
right.
Chris Blade is one of those names that, when I first heard, I was like, man, that's such a hard name, dude. And I always, you know, I always wonder how people get their name. So awesome story behind it, and definitely a hard name that I love, man. That's awesome.
And I even made like my own definition of it. Chris is actually it I made a backronym meaning for it. It means I kick rhymes in stereo, bars
Oh,
and lyrics
nice.
always dope every day. Yeah,
Oh, I like it, man. I like it, dude. Guru KRS stuff, man.
yeah,
That's dope.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
with that, man. Hey, so I know that you are one third of the collective Toxic Slime clique, right? And so, do you want
Mhm.
to really quickly introduce the Toxic Slime team, real quick?
Yeah. So Toxic Slime is me, our double 604, and my homie Cliche. And we added another member later on. His name is Scooter. He's from Alabama. Um, yeah, we as a collective we did a lot of shows together and shit, and it was like a super group, Toxic Slime
Okay.
Click, but Toxic Slime is like just Toxic Slime is a duo, it's just me and R2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, super dope, man. And so
Yeah.
that was kind of my first introduction to you in terms of music wise, right? I heard all the dope mixtapes that you put out, like in the early 2000s. Poisonous
Oh,
Ways was super
yeah,
raw,
yeah.
man. And yeah, for those who don't know, Poisonous Ways was a
Yeah.
collection of raps and tracks that these guys did over
Yeah.
over famous beats, man. And just the style on that, your rapping was super raw and just very Wu Tangish. And man,
Yeah, yeah.
it was just very hard. I enjoyed listening to that album and the Preem Rock album, man. You want to talk to
Thanks,
us
man.
about the creation about those albums real quick?
Yeah, just let's start off with Poisonous Ways. I just just a big fan of like the whole 50 Cent mixtape era. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Yeah, I just that really inspired me a lot, man. Man, shout out to 50 Cent, man. Um, that's why I made a mixtape. I started rapping on other people's, like beats. But there's also a bunch of original production in that. The song called Paper Chase, and I believe Cool Chronic Kris. Those are all made by my homie R Double, man.
Yeah. Magellan's Vein. Talk to me about that song.
Yeah,
That
Magellan's
freaking blew
Vein.
my
It's
brain, man.
yeah. Just wanted to like talk my shit over a dope beat. I think it's from Jedi Mind Tricks, I believe that
I think
beat.
it's I Against I, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those Jedi Mind Tricks
Yep.
instrumentals I got. But that's pretty much when I started using the name Chris Blade, Magellan's Bane. That's if you know about history, Magellan is the guy who killed who conquered the Philippines, but he got killed by the locals, man, Lapu Lapu.
That's
So
right.
pretty much Magellan's Bane, how he died, right? He died off of Lapu Lapu's Chris Blade. That's why that I made that song, man.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
And then you went on to record Preem Rock, which I wanted to just point out that your 2000 album was very raw. It was, as I mentioned, just hard hip hop. And then I saw Chris Blade grow into further develop artist. A lot of the
Yeah.
topics that you were hitting them on Preem Rock, addressed a lot of social issues that were going on in your life and just in
Yeah.
Canada and Filipino community at the time. And so, was there
Yeah.
anything that you wanted to mention about the development of Preem Rock? Because I was
Yeah.
that other one. I was blown away.
That one, okay, around that time in my life, I was volunteering in this place called Kalayaan Center, which is like a Filipino community center in East Vancouver. They were helping out, like people in need, like, people who need support with like I guess like social issues in the neighborhood and in the community. So I used to volunteer there and I met a lot of cool people there. And it definitely changed like my view on certain things like politically. That going through that community center man introduced me to this book. Um, I'm not. Are you familiar with Carlos Bulasan?
Yep, absolutely, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much like in, introduced me to that kind of like because I never knew about all that shit, man. And then I learned about I read biography of Malcolm X, man. That really changed my life, man. So around that time, that's what I was kind of into, like like politically, like there's a lot of that mixtape alone is very political and shit, but it's just what I was going through at the time, man.
Yeah, I could tell you were a
Yeah,
man of the people, man, and just
yeah,
it was all about the community. At least the theme of
mm,
that album was. So
right.
I appreciated seeing uh, Chris Blade grow as an artist, man. So that was really cool to see, man. And you continue to do that, and you blow my mind. And so, real quick, hey, so you started rapping in Canada, and so you were a product of the Vancouver rap scene as well
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
early 2000s, man. Can you just talk to me about what the Vancouver rap scene was like? Because I saw all those awesome videos on your website.
yeah. So back then, when we were doing our thing, like doing shows and stuff, we kind of just had our own little bubble. Like I met artists in my area, other Filipino MCs as well. A lot of them they rap in Tagalog, but we were just all vibing and doing our thing. We all like was just like, you know, um, we just kind of all stumbled into each other doing shows in the city and shit. And I could shout out groups like Taong Gago, Babala Records,
Oh wow.
Enigmatico. Yeah, a bunch of Filipino rappers from Vancouver. There's quite a lot. It's very underground, very I would say it's very Vancouver and Surrey, sound and yeah, man, I started linking up with those guys, and then from my work in the community as well, they organized a lot of shows. So
Yeah.
being I was part of the Kalayana Center, I would give me like free reign to like perform in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool as well. Yeah, man, we organized a lot of events for like the Filipino youth. There's this annual show that we used to do called Roots, Rhymes, and Resistance. Roots, Rhymes, and Resistance. It was done at Charles Tupper High School, and it was every year. And then I would MC that, I would perform there, and really just get a lot of people together, man. It was fun times, man, back in those days, man.
Yeah, the crowd looked live,
Yeah,
man, and just the vibe
yeah,
was amazing too, as well. So it looked like a really awesome scene to be a part of. And I
yeah. It was
imagine
cool.
probably the same too in Toronto. And
Mm.
then can you tell me, were you inspired by any of the other Canadian artists that were also rapping at the time? Swollen Members, Socrates, Chaos, Lucky
Yeah, yeah.
Legs, any of those guys?
Yeah, first of all, I'm a big Swollen Members fan, man, especially Balance. That first album they put out, man, dope fucking album, bro. Like,
Yes.
that's how I got introduced to the Alchemist. And I think Alchemist got like 5 beats on there or something. I'm a big fan of that album, and then all their later projects. But yeah, Swollen Members definitely like one of my hometown heroes, man.
Yeah, often the Canadian scene, man, just
Yeah.
you guys put it down definitely for hip hop. And I
Oh,
also want to talk about a show that you did in Toronto, man. So when I was
yeah.
exposed to some of your videos, man, I saw you rapping in Tagalog, which I didn't know that you rapped in Tagalog. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, man, for sure, man. I believe that was in 2008. There was a conference that I went to in Toronto. It was done at the University of Toronto, and
Yep,
which was like a gathering of a bunch of Filipino community centers from Winnipeg, from Montreal, from Toronto. And we were representing the Vancouver side, and yeah, I performed there with a couple of my songs, and I did an acapella in Tagalog, which is my song called Pangara.
yep.
And yeah, man, it was fun, man. I had a fun doing that, man.
Yeah, and so I
Yeah.
can rap in Tagalog too, but it takes me like 5 years to write a verse. And so to me, like when I was going through your albums, it seems like you rap in Tagalog pretty naturally, man. Was Tagalog your first language?
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Born and raised, bro. Like, it's just my native tongue, and when I started actually writing Tagalog raps, it just fit the pocket so nice. I was just like, this is home right here. Like it was like, this is my thing. So yeah, I don't do it often, but I
Yep.
have a few Tagalog songs that I put out.
Yeah, yeah, like Robin Hood style, which is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah,
Mayaman ng mayaman at mga gutong pakainin, man. Such
yeah.
a dope hook, man. So steal from the
Thanks,
rich and
man.
feed the poor, baby.
Yeah,
I love
dude.
it, man. That was such a hard song, man. You guys hit the topic on that super hard, so I appreciate that song, man.
And that was one of the first songs that we were performing live, and it was like, and when we perform in front of Filipinos, it just like it kind of gets the crowd going, man. Like they're like, what the fuck these guys are talking about, robbing the rich and shit. It was dope, man.
Yeah, you got to look at the metaphors, man. So yeah, I appreciated that song, and
Yeah.
also another song too that hit home for me was your song about your hometown, Binyan, Laguna, man, which is south
Oh
of
man,
Metro Manila, right? And so, real quick, do you want to talk to me just about the origin of that song because that hit home for me too as well?
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, man. That song actually was inspired by Lil Wayne. He got the song called Holly Grove, and he was
Yep,
talking about like born in New Orleans, raised in New Orleans, da 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 da. Like he's just like talking about his hood, and I'm just like, I think I wrote that in '09, but I didn't record it till like 2010 or something. But it was just like, yeah, I had to talk about my hood, man, because I grew up there. That's where I'm from. That's where all my homies are from. I got to talk about all the stuff that we did, man, back in those days, man. We was into gangs. We was like jumping kids. A lot of bad stuff, but a lot of fun stuff as well, man.
yeah, it's timeless
Yeah,
music, and you did a
yeah,
good job of just telling the story of what the
yeah,
Philippines was like in that time. And so,
yeah.
man, it took me back there, man. That's why that song connected me with me real quick, man.
Yeah, man. Peep the music video that I made for that song too, man. Binyan Laguna. If you haven't checked it out yet, man.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not too far from you. My dad is from Amadeo, Cavite, which is about,
Yeah,
I think maybe an hour or two southwest of you, man. But
no
yeah, I
doubt.
had good times growing up, man. So that's dope, man. So
Uh-huh.
thanks for sharing that track too, as well. And so with that, just obviously your upbringing is was in the Philippines, and so was that
Uh-huh.
your identity wise in terms of becoming a rapper? Did being
Oh,
Filipino play into that as you were writing and becoming Chris Blade?
for sure, man. It's definitely part of it because, that's pretty much where I'm from, what I represent, and that's the stories that I pull from, man. My life and my experiences growing up as a teenager, like young kid in the Philippines, riding jeepneys, freaking shoplifting from stores, shit like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Growing up, man, it's
Yeah,
real, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's dope, and I see the influence too in your artwork too, man. So that's I had mentioned too that that caught me off guard, man. I had no idea that you were Filipino when I first started listen to your music. And then when I saw the cover art and as I was digging more into Chris Blade, man, I was just blown away. And that just made it cool, man. There was an instant connection, man, that I found with your music after I found those art pieces, having Philippine themes.
No doubt, man. Yeah, like I mean, I just gotta represent what I know, man. Like
Yeah.
this is the life the I've been exposed to, growing up in the '90s. It was a different thing back in the Philippines, man. And I definitely had to flavor my music with that influence, man.
When did you move to Canada?
Moved to Canada in '01, bro. So it's been
Okay.
20 some years.
Okay. Also, how old were
Yeah.
you at the time from your transition from Manila to Canada?
I was around 17, man. So I really did like my whole what I'm saying, elementary to high school in the Philippines and shit. So I
Okay.
graduated, did all my stuff there, and then yeah, after a year after high school, we moved to Canada.
Cool. Were you already writing lyrics back in the Philippines?
Nah, I was just like I was so pretty much before I really got into hip hop, I was like it was mostly Naughty by Nature, Cypress Hill, that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
when freaking I discovered Wu-Tang Clan, that fucking
Yep.
took over my world, man. Like that shit was like my religion.
And with that, you had mentioned that Francis M has been a big influence on your style, and
Yeah.
yeah, and he was kind of your introduction to hip hop in general, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Do you know that song called Summer Nights?
Dude,
I love that song,
yes,
bro.
I do, man. That's the
Yeah,
song. Holy cow, man. Yeah,
yeah.
so I got a funny story, but yeah, tell me about your experience with that song.
No, I just love it because like it's not even a hip hop, it's an R&B song, right? But
Yep.
like the way he sings it, it's like easy to sing to, and it's like actually like I love singing, man. I'm Filipino, right? So like
Yep, for sure.
we're definitely into the karaoke shit, right? So it's like one of my songs, bro. When they bring up the karaoke machine, I gotta bring that up, man.
That is crazy, man. So that same song was so I had a friend who was trying to get with this girl, and he like ripped the instrumental from that Francis M song, and he writes
Yeah,
his own rap and like records on the karaoke machine. So that was also another early exposure to somebody trying to rap, and I was like, oh, this is
yeah.
dope. But it was that Francis M song, "Cold Summer Nights."
Big
That's funny,
fucking song. I love that shit.
man. Dope, man. And so, man, you've been in the rap game for quite a long time now, man. And so, what has music done for you in your life, man?
I mean, bro, hip hop. People will like think like this is just like a music thing. It's actually to me it's more than that, man. It's like hip hop is like my life, bro. Like it's like my religion almost, because it's really everything that I do revolves around it. My art, which pretty much, it boils down to what my job is because I do art, graphic arts. And just the way I dress, the way I talk. It's like, bro, it's a lifestyle, man. It's really like it's just me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it is, a black music, but I just found like, myself in it, man. Like, just this is my thing, man. I just the thing that I identify with.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And it's done the same for me too, man. So,
Yeah,
got to honor all those who, set the path, and just I thank them for the opportunity to bless on their platform too, as well. So that's super dope. And then you
yeah.
just keyed in on something too that I wanted to talk about, man. Since
Uh,
I've known you, my initial introduction to Chris Blade was you being a graphic artist, man, and
yeah.
you are super amazing with just
Thanks,
with
man.
yeah with art in general, man. And so that's what you do for a living, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I'm a graphic artist. It really all started with like me writing graffiti out there, man. And it just like was an obsession that kind of translated into the digital realm, because I can't be doing graffiti now, man. I can't be
Yeah,
getting in trouble with the law, man. So this is it. This is just the way I make money now, man.
nice. And how long have you
So,
been doing that for?
I believe since 2007. This is
Okay,
kind of my introduction to graphic arts. But before that, I actually studied animation.
okay,
But it wasn't really my thing, so I'd never really worked in that industry. But and since 2007, I've been working in the print industry, which you definitely need a lot of graphic design kind of knowledge in that area. So that's pretty much where I've been working at ever
yeah.
since.
Yeah, and so I think too, like just as a side project too,
Mm.
you've been doing a lot of art for other rappers, and I know for you,
Yeah,
you've done some stuff for me too as well
right, right.
that I love, man. So do you want to talk about some of the projects that you contributed to?
Oh man, it's way too many, but I'm
Yep.
just gonna talk about like how I got into that type of stuff because it kind of I believe, well, for me, first of all, I was doing my own covers, right? That's where it all started. I got to talk about like my dad. He used to collect a lot of vinyls growing up, and that's pretty much kind of, I guess, where I got like my obsession with collecting music. But
Yep.
the vinyl is like a 12-inch piece of thing, right? It's a big art piece, and it's like I was always fascinated with the artwork that was on it, man. So I think I carried that to to later on, like going on to like buying my own tapes and kind of just digesting what's on the artwork. Like for example, like Cypress Hill always had dope artwork. Like I would always like kind of look at their art and like be fascinated, like it's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
And yeah, like so what I'm trying to say, I guess, is like I've been into like the album art shit back then. So I started doing my own covers, and then I started hooking up my homies, and then it kind of just from word of mouth, people started working with me. And back in 2008, it was Loretta Records. It's an independent label. You can find
Yep.
them on Instagram. They were the first ones to ever like fuck with my art on Instagram, and
Yep.
I sold an art piece to Justin, who owns the label, and he put it on my homie Deep. He's a beat maker from NY. He used my artwork on his album, and that was pretty much what snowballed into all the artwork I did like later on. Like all of his it's just trilogy of his beat tapes that he did called Theology.
Yep.
I did three of those, and then I did a whole bunch of stuff for them and his homies, and then it just kind of like word of mouth, man, on Instagram. Like a lot of people started fucking with me, man.
Yeah, that was
So,
dope. I think for me, a couple years ago, I had a friend who had posted your music and he had copped some albums from you, and so I was always
oh
looking. I'm always looking for dope new artists
wait,
to listen to.
wait,
Um,
is he from Seattle?
yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, what's his name? I forget, man. My homie, man.
Nate, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, so he copped some of your albums, right? And I was like, man,
yeah,
I gotta check this out, man. The song that
yeah.
he had put on that post was really dope. And then I
Jazz
found out,
Mara.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the homie, man. Sick,
yeah.
man. Shout
And
out to
then
that guy, bro.
yeah, and then I was like, oh man, I looked into it more, and then I found your page with all the albums, and then that's why I noticed all the dope art because you had all the cover
Yeah,
art posted for each album. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh man, this dude is like on another level, man. Your art for
yeah,
the albums was amazing, and then I saw the Filipino influence too as well, right? And then had
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, Filipino theme stuff with the Chris Blade and some of the
yeah.
stuff that you just find all over the Philippines. So, and then I
Right,
looked
right.
into you more, man. And so, yeah, ever since, man, I've been a fan of your music, man. So that's super
That's what's
dope.
up, man. That's dope,
Yeah.
man. Yo, I gotta shout out to your album that you made with Genelec, man. That shit blew my mind, bro.
Oh man, thank you,
That
dude. Yeah,
shit. Yo,
2000.
if you have a CD, that hook me up, man, because I need a copy, bro.
I could definitely burn it for you, man. I don't even own a copy anymore, but
Oh
thank
shit,
you. Yeah, you're too
for sure,
kind,
for sure.
dude.
I
Dope.
love that, man. I love hearing that type of stuff like that. That sound from that era. It's like
Yeah.
that the 2000s underground rap shit just sounds so ill to me, man.
Yeah, we grew up the same time, man. So that's why we probably appreciate it, man. I think I'm stuck in that era, man. But I'm
I,
still listening to a lot of new stuff too.
I listen to a lot of new stuff too, but that's just like that sound just gets to me, man. That sample, dusty, like
Yep,
dirty drum break, man.
I love it. Gritty, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Super
yeah,
gritty. And so, hey, with that, man, before I talk about some of your future projects, man,
yeah.
Filipino, man, I got to bring it up. Growing up in Canadian, man. All right, talk
Mm,
to me about poutine, man. I'm just coming back from a
yeah,
trip
yeah.
out of Canada, but I was on the east side. I was visiting some family in Toronto, and they introduced me to the poutine dish. And so, is that also big too on the west coast of Canada?
See, that's the thing. I've never been into poutine, man. Like it's a East Coast Canadian thing. Like I know it in Montreal is a big thing,
Yep.
but I mean I like it. It's good, but it's not my favorite thing.
Yeah. And so it's
Yeah.
funny, right? So they was telling me that I had asked them, hey, I know they do poutine at McDonald's too, and I love me some McDonald's fries, but they was
Yeah.
like, no, that's wrong. You
Yeah.
can't eat poutine from McDonald's, dude.
Maybe I just haven't had the authentic kind, man. But I've had some good ones for sure.
All right, with that being a Filipino living in Canada, man,
Yeah.
talk to me about Filipino food, man. What is Chris Blade's favorite Filipino dish?
Yeah, man. Number one Filipino dish for me is called binagoongan, which is bagoong, which is the shrimp paste, and then it's stir fried with pork belly and some other vegetables. Fire, bro.
That
Yeah.
sounds amazing, man. Can you cook it, or does your wife cook it?
Yo, I got my wife to cook it last time. It turned out pretty good. It's not the best smelling thing because bagoong is just like,
Yep. Yeah.
you gotta really like air out the house, but it tastes so good, bro.
I'm a fan bagoong, and I gotta have it on my mango, right, too, as well. And so,
Mango, you know what I'm saying? Kare kare. You gotta
yo,
eat that with bagoong, man. I'm a big fan of that that food, bro. Like it definitely reminds you of like, back home, like just like the regular a lot of it's kinda like I would consider it like poor people food, but you know what it is, man. It tastes good, bro.
yep, it's good comfort food, man, for
Yeah.
sure. No, it's dope, man. All right, with that, hey, do you have any future plans to release any music this year? What do you got going on? What do you got going on?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, good question, bro. I definitely got a few projects going on. I'm just trying to really work with a bunch of beats that I've got from, the homies and shit. And currently working on a little mixtape thing called actually it's not I don't have a name for it yet, but it's from one of my homies who passed away last 2021. His name is DJ Wannacut. He blessed me with his beat
Yep.
like a year before his passing, and I'm like, I gotta do it right and do it justice, and rap on this shit like proper, man. So yeah, I'm working on that right now. I got a couple of solo albums that I'm working on with different producers.
Yep.
Um, I think I'm gonna name one of them. It's from my friend. His name is Scope G. I've been working with him a lot. He's produced and done a bunch of my videos. He hooked me up with a whole batch of beats, and this project I'm calling Cyborg Ninja.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I'm
Cool.
on that type on. Yeah.
Is it all solo material, or are you going? Are you
Um.
doing under the Toxic Slime Click
It's gonna
name?
be it's gonna be solo. It's gonna be a Chris Blade album because I've actually never put out like a full album just by myself with like original production. So
Okay.
that's gonna be like my first thing, and I plan on like putting it on this on the DSPs and shit, and just try to get more of my music out there. Cause like, you can only find my music on Bandcamp right now.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's dope too, man. And then
yeah,
again, you have that awesome YouTube site, which I talked about earlier too, that
yeah,
has got a good collection of videos and tracks of your stuff that you did in the 2000s. Man,
yeah,
I was really into the Toxic Tuesday
yeah.
miniseries, man. That was really dope. And you had
Man,
the freestyle at the market, and
yeah,
then the
yeah.
music videos. And man, I love the live footage, especially that track you guys did together, "Fly Gentleman." It was just
Oh
fun,
man,
man. Yeah, it
yeah,
was fun
yeah. I
watching
love
that
this.
series of videos.
It was like I think that channel I stopped producing stuff. I think 2013 was the last thing I put up on there, but yeah, I'm trying to put it back. I mean, it was fun. I'm the one who does all the videos too.
Okay.
So it was definitely fun for me to do all that YouTube stuff and kind of missed it. So I'm gonna, we're gonna revive that channel, man, for sure.
Okay, looks good, man. Well, hey, whenever
Yeah.
those projects come out, man, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to hear some new Chris Blade stuff.
Yeah.
And I know you still got merch up for sale too, right, on the Bandcamp sites. Is that still available?
Actually, no, I don't have any merch there.
Okay.
It's just, if people reach out and want to buy. I should actually, because I do still have a bunch of CDs from before that, that's just sitting in my fucking closet, man. So maybe I should put up the merch stuff there, man.
I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah,
some gem pieces to have in any music
yeah.
collection, man.
I mean, the stuff that I hooked you up with is pretty much a bunch of the stuff that it's most of the stuff that I have, man.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
appreciate you sending over that care package of Chris Blade albums, man. And I'm
yeah,
going
for
through them
sure.
and I'm just loving them, man. Like I said, Poisonous Ways, man, and the Preem
Yeah,
Rock mixtape, man, unbelievable. It
yeah,
captured
uh,
a good period in time of just raw hip hop, man. I love it.
mhm. Yeah. It's pretty much it's what I represent, man.
Okay, cool
Mhm.
deal, man. Well, hey, with that, hey, thanks again. I appreciate it, man, for taking time to talk to us
Yeah, I
about
appreciate you, brother. I
about
mean,
who
no
Chris
wonder.
Blade is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything you want? Anything else you want to share with the audience, man, to let them know about Chris Blade?
Yeah, just I mean, I guess I can plug my socials here. You can find me on Instagram. It's Chris Blade, KrisBlade. And when you go through there, you can pretty much see all the links that I have for my music, SoundCloud, all that shit. My band website is actually toxicslime.com, but it's mad outdated. But it still works. You can still find all the links there. But if you want to find our music, it's toxicslime.bandcamp.com, which you can download all of my old catalog there for free. Um, I might start a new Bandcamp when I start releasing new music as Chris Blade Bandcamp, but I don't know, whatever, man. I'll figure it all out later. But yeah, man. Shout outs to everybody, all my homies on TSC, our double cliche, Scooter 334, man. Those are my guys, man, my day ones. Yeah, shout outs to everyone that supported me and supports my artwork on Instagram. And yeah, man, that's about it, bro. And thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for your time again. Like the man
Yeah,
said, check out his music. You
yeah.
won't be disappointed, and the
Mm.
art is fresh, man. If you're looking for fresh artwork for your project, hit my man Chris Blade up. Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Peace.
Thank you, man. Be safe out there, man. One. Peace, peace.